Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for attending this webinar by NT WorkSafe in relation to Electrical Safety Week. In the spirit of reconciliation, NT WorkSafe acknowledges the traditional custodians of the land, waters, and culture. We pay respect to the elders of the community and extend that respect to their descendants, past, present, and emerging. So my name's Bevan Ray. I'm a senior WorkSafe inspector with the electrical safety team, and we conduct safety audits of any electrical installation, essentially. So the electrical safety team in NT WorkSafe, each team member is an authorized inspector, and we are all licensed electricians. Our main role is to ensure the electrical industry complies with electrical safety laws so that any electrical work done is fit for purpose and safe to use. An important thing to remember is the electrical safety laws are not limited to workplaces. We can look into electrical safety issues in residential properties as well. Our role includes doing random audits of electrical work to make sure electricians are following the rules. These audits can be in a home or workplace. We also attend and investigate fires with the fire and emergency services if they think the fire was caused by an electrical fault. So, in a nutshell, to put all that together is you engage an electrical contractor, they come to your house, carry out maintenance, repairs, installation on an apparatus. They'll complete a certificate of compliance, which is then forwarded on to Power and Water, who shares those with NT WorkSafe. As electrical inspectors, we may come to site with the COC, spot audit the works that are being completed, and make sure that they are compliant. Main focus today is solar safety and safety requirements around solar systems and solar batteries. We have had at least 11 solar system fires in homes and businesses this year in the Territory. The aim of today is to give you information so you know what is required for a safe and compliant solar system. Afterwards, I'll briefly cover two other issues which are common causes of fire in the home, which are power boards and lithium-ion batteries. I'm going to walk through the process of what you need to know as either a home or business owner looking to install a solar system. If you already own a system, just tick off the points as I cover them to make sure your system is compliant. For a solar system to be compliant, it has to meet the requirements of all these laws, standards, policies, and guidelines. So we have AS 3000 for electrical contractors and electricians. This is basically the Holy Bible. We follow just about every direction in the AS 3000. Then in regards to solar and batteries, they have the AS 5033, which is installation requirements for your solar system, and AS 5139 for the safety of battery systems used with power conversion equipment. Also, the Clean Energy Council, or the CEC, have best practice guides, which they release, or guidelines to assist installers with further information. Okay, step one, do your research. Get multiple quotes, find an accredited installer. At the point of sale, you will be required to sign Power and Water Network Connection Agreement, Jacana documents, which are Power Purchase Agreement, Access Building Records Form. This is so the installer, retailer can obtain a building permit. Retailer's sales contract. Important, do not sign the STC rebate form until the installation is complete and you are happy with the installation. Step 2, it is a requirement that all buildings in a cyclonic region have a building permit before works commence. Usually the installer, retailer obtains a building permit on your behalf. In non-cyclonic regions, building permits are not required. However, a competent person needs to write a stat dec that the roof is suitable, and all commercial buildings requires a building permit no matter of their location. Please note that the certified engineer will need to attend and inspect the installation on the roof to finalise the occupancy certificate. What to look for in a contract. There are two main reasons that a homeowner wants to purchase a solar system: cover power bill or percentage of, feel like doing something for the environment in offsetting your carbon emissions. Some factors which may determine the size of your system you get are cost and budget, available roof space. In addition to this, alarm bells should ring if you get a quote from a solar retailer without a site visit. Sometimes near the completion of the installation, you may be hit up for more money for extras, hidden costs. Example, to upgrade your meter panel. This should have been identified at the site visit. Performance estimate, which takes into account shade, tilt, and orientation to determine your payback period, should be accumulated as well. It is a requirement to have itemized list with makes and models. So when there is a product recall, if or when, you can easily identify any recalled products. The items listed must be what was actually installed, and you can cross-check what was installed and what was actually installed. Discuss the location of the equipment to be installed, the inverter, cable runs, and so forth. Industry standard is that installers give 5 years workmanship warranty, 25 years on solar panel performance and degradation rate. So when the guys come out, discuss where you want batteries, inverters, and conduits basically run, as they will be there permanently. Make sure you get the following from your installer. You get an induction on how to use, monitor, and what to do if there is an alarm. Log daily performance to get an average daily energy yield. Ensure you are happy with the work conducted on completion. This day and age, you will probably get an app linked to your iPad, your phone, whatever the case is, which will show you all of your daily energy usage, your production, and whatnot. It's a good measure to maybe check at 5 or 6 o'clock every single day, just to keep an eye on how your system is performing. And this can lead to identifying potential faults down the track, like dirty panels, maybe a string disconnection or a faulty panel causing the string to produce less power. We'll post a checklist in the chat, what should be in the system, documentation, but the key things are ensuring you get all the documentation. Occupancy certificate ensures the installation on your roof is compliant. Electrical certificate of compliance ensures the electrical installation is compliant. Knowing how to shut down in case of an emergency. Like all electrical equipment, maintenance is required for your solar system. Follow the maintenance schedule provided with your system from your retailer or installer. This can include panel cleaning and removal of debris, system inspection and testing, electrical checks to ensure all components are operating as intended, reviewing the inverter display panel for recorded faults, check that access to the isolator switches has not been impeded. Make sure the emergency procedures for shutdown and isolation are clearly displayed. So, DC isolators and the main sources of fires. We have had water ingress. So this example that we've got here is an example of PIPs installed in an isolator. DC isolators these days are built into inverters to reduce the number of DC isolators and failing points of the system. If you have these installed as highlighted or circled in red, these pips need to be put in place to maintain the IP rating of the apparatus. This picture shows the installer used the external mounting brackets supplied with the isolator. If you cannot see these, confirm with your installer how they mounted the DC isolator to the wall. Please note there are DC isolators on the market which do allow for mounting through the back of the isolator if done correctly. So once again, highlighted in the red circles, there is screws. Now we highlight this so you don't just screw through the back of the isolator, which would then ruin the IP rating of the apparatus. So as we see here, the pips are missing. This is a fire that NT WorkSafe attended with DC isolators. As highlighted, all the pips are missing. So screws through the back of the isolator are not installed as per manufacturer's requirements. It's been holes drilled through the DC isolator and not sealed. So we've got some screw holes, and then they're the additional holes that have been drilled in or not sealed. Battery energy storage system, or a BESS. Batteries are devices that stores chemical energy that converts to electricity. There's several risks to take into account: arc flashes, electric shocks, fire and or explosions, leaks and exposure to hazardous chemicals. The location of the BESS is important. While it is tempting to install a battery energy system, or the BESS, in an out-of-sight location in your home or business, the installation location plays an important part in how safe your BESS is. There are restrictions which apply to where a BESS can be installed. BESS cannot be installed in areas which include ceiling spaces or wall cavities, under stairways, access walkways, and floors of habitable rooms. Those with high set elevated houses need to make note on this one. They can't be installed on top of roofs, in areas with a switchboard or generation system, and in an evacuation or escape route. BESS cannot be installed in a room which you or your family uses for normal living activities, also known as a habitable room. These rooms include a bedroom, a living room, a lounge room, kitchen, dining room, study, and a family room. Your contractor is required to install your BESS with a clearance zone for safety reasons, and the owner occupiers are required to maintain those zones. The zone extends 600 mil either side and to the front of the BESS, 900 mil above. This space is not for extra storage. It needs to be kept clear. Your contractor cannot install a BESS on or against a wall or structure that has a habitable room on the other side without a fire protection barrier if the wall or structure is made of combustible materials such as cladding, timber, or gyprock, plasterboard, etc. A fire protection barrier is to slow potential fires from the BESS burning through a wall or structure and spreading into the habitable room and giving the occupant extra time to exit. The barrier needs to be installed between the BESS and the wall or structure. So this is in relation to the clearance zones. as mentioned before, 600 mil to the front and to the sides. So you can see they've pretty much just stored everything wherever they wanted and got the old clothesline hanging up. So other considerations with the best installation. Choose an installation location which provides adequate access for electrical wiring. Do not put the BESS in a location that can flood or be splashed with water. Keep the BESS out of direct sunlight, which reduces the risk of overheating. Is not mounted on the inside of an uninsulated wall that gets direct sunlight. It's not next to a heat ignition source, barbecue, etc. Is not in an area used to store gas bottles or other combustible materials. Does not put the BESS at risk of being hit by something and damaged, i.e. cars in a carport. In first instance, contact your installer and ask them the questions. If no resolution, contact NT WorkSafe. So on to the next section, safe use of power boards. Power boards are used to expand the number outlets available. If a power board is overloaded, it may lead to an electric shock or fire. Amps is a measurement of the flow of the electric current, and watts is a measurement of the electric power an appliance uses. Appliances and devices have power ratings set out in a label to help you make sure you do not overload the power board. If unsure, check appliance device manual. So it's strongly recommended to check out what you've got, how much the rating is, so you don't overload the power board, which is a picture here. If you have this in your house, you should probably disconnect everything and rearrange it. So do not overload a power board. You need to try and spread the load to minimize the circuit from overloading. Stringing power boards. This photo shows that there are a number of extension leads and power boards used. This increases the power boards to be overloaded and may lead to a risk of electric shock or fires. Safe use of lithium-ion batteries. Lithium-ion batteries offer portable power solutions and are becoming increasingly popular in many electronic applications. Lithium-ion devices have become an integral part of modern homes. Lithium-ion batteries are lightweight and compact, provide necessary power for extended periods, improve performance, and reliable power source. The following are examples of some common devices that we use: laptops and tablets, smartphones, digital cameras, cordless power tools, vacuum cleaners, handheld gaming devices, smartwatches or wearables, fitness trackers and such, portable speakers, electric toothbrushes, rechargeable batteries and power banks, e-scooters and hoverboards. So the risks. Some of these are lithium-ion batteries are potentially hazardous and dangerous if not stored, maintained, or used correctly. This can have significant impact on performance and life of these batteries. Overheating, leading to fire or explosion, toxic chemical exposure, and pollution due to battery rupture. Components in the battery may break down at elevated temperatures, leading to overheating and catching fire. There have been a number of reported incidents related to lithium batteries. Included extensive damage to vehicles and homes. So warning signs. Got heat. Normal for batteries to generate some heat when charging or in use, but if devices battery feels extremely hot to touch, it is likely that it is defective and at risk of starting a fire. Heat can also be, as we live up in the territory here, leaving phones on your dashboards, out in the sun, power tools in your toolbox in the back of the ute. This heat will cause damage as well. Swelling, another common sign of battery failing is battery swelling. The shape of your battery has changed or it looks swollen, stop using it immediately. Signs include emergence of any lump or bulge, or there is some leakage from the device. Noise. Failing lithium batteries may also make hissing or cracking sounds. There's odors. If you notice a strong or unusual odor coming from the battery, this is a bad sign. Smoke, again, if your device is starting to smoke, a fire may have already started. Stop using and take evasive action. So the do's. Purchase quality products. Choose reputable brands and manufacturers. High quality products are more likely to have undergone rigorous safety testing and adhere to industry standards. Avoid counterfeit batteries. Use only genuine and recommended batteries for your devices. Avoid physical damage. Handle lithium-ion devices with care to prevent physical damage to the battery. Dropping, crushing, or puncturing the battery can damage the internal components and lead to safety issues. Use original chargers. Use the original charger provided by the manufacturer. Using uncertified or incompatible chargers can lead to overcharging or inadequate charging, potentially damaging the batteries. Regularly inspect cables. So check the charging cables for signs of wear and tear, fraying, or damage. Damaged cables can expose wires. Ventilation. When charging or using devices, ensure proper ventilation. Avoid placing on soft surfaces like beds or couches, which can block ventilation and lead to overheating. Dispose properly. Follow regulations for proper disposal or recycling of lithium-ion batteries. Use the designated collection points for hazardous waste. Do not put in bins with general rubbish. So some don'ts. Overcharge. Do not leave your device plugged in and charging for a long period of time once they are fully charged. Exposure to water. Keep lithium-ion devices and batteries away from water and moisture, as water can damage internal components and lead to short circuits. Ventilation. When charging or using devices, ensure proper ventilation. Soft surfaces. Dispose properly. So, there is any further concerns or any questions to be raised, NT WorkSafe can be contacted on the following. So we've got our 1-800 number, we've got a generic email, and for any further information, you can look at the NT WorkSafe page. Is there any further questions?
There are no questions, I guess, Bevan.
Yep, no questions. All good. All right, thank you everyone for viewing in today.